Welcome back to the 12-month video game repair challenge. This is episode 9. Let me go over the self-imposed rules really quickly and I'll jump into some repairs. First off, no debt. I start with $0 and I need to repair and sell items that I already have to make enough money to buy new parts and new items to fix. The goal is $10,000 in sales by the time I'm done too. Number 2 is I have a maximum of 7 hours a week to do any testing and repairs. Number 3 is there's no cost for supplies and tools I already own. And number 4 is to share everything. One summary video each month until the 12 months are done. Now on to the fixes. Alright, so I needed a few more of these Wii controllers. I happened to find these out in the wild. And yeah, of course, one of them is just full of corrosion. This was the easiest way to start the month. I won't be including this in the monthly total, but I needed to get these all tested and working since I was making some Wii bundles with them. This unit was the worst of the bunch and had a lot of corrosion, but it really just was a cleaning process that took a few minutes to complete. I tested all of them off camera and when I was done they worked great. This just shows you that not all fixes are super long and require a lot of skills to complete. Another easy but random fix I found was this next one. I've had this sitting on my shelf next to my workstation for what, 3 years now? I just never worked on it. Probably because it's just so cheap. But this was another common issue of very dirty pins. The first time I tested it, nothing happened, and it got sent to the shelf to accumulate dust. After some cleaning and the use of a scratch pen, the pins were nice and bright again. Hey! Look at that! And another one fixed. I finally got in these PS2 controller parts and thought this would be an excellent way to make some of these units work again. I was ready to dive into these too. Not only did I need more good PS2 controllers, but I wanted to clear out that whole bag of them that I've had sitting here for a while now. Boy oh boy was I wrong about this. Alright, so I've worked on 4 of these units so far. I just started putting them into a bag because, you know, they're destroyed now. Because I'm convinced you cannot do this without a hot air machine or a hot air unit. The pads end up ripping off almost immediately, and I was using an X-Acto, and you can even see I've got some solder and other garbage on the end there that I was trying to just gently get behind the pins, pry them up. Tried from the front, on the sides, both sides. It really didn't seem like it mattered. It still just destroyed the pins every single time. This one's the best one. Ripped one pin off, or one pad off completely. There's a couple other ones over here that are separated. Yeah, I don't know if this is going to be a good process with my current setup. I think I might need to postpone this because I've just destroyed 4 controllers that could have been fixed. And this is going to be kind of a problem to pop these back in place and replace them and get it all situated. It's just a lot of extra work for such little reward. So I might need to postpone this. That's one of the reasons why I didn't do this in the first place. But happy I did. Good learning experience. Now we know. These may have been put on hold, but the rest of the consoles have not. Alright, finally on to some PlayStation 2s. So I'm retesting some of them that I have sitting up here, and this one, apparently I wrote that it had a bad AV cord, which I'm twisting that now, and it's totally fine. So I don't see any issues with that whatsoever. I'm not sure why I wrote that down there. Maybe I had a bad cord that I was testing with. I don't know, but everything on the front works, eject works, disc tray works, everything seems to be fine. It goes back and forth between the menus, no problem. So I think this one is good to go, but I'll test a few more and see if I potentially find any other good ones. It's just kind of a weird problem. This unit was pretty dirty, so I'm wondering if that has something to do with the tray not opening properly. And taking a look at the AV port shows why it may have had issues the first time. It's pretty rusty, but I'll clean that bit once the unit is fixed. And look at that, a free disc inside. Not that I want this one, but hey, it's still free. I got the entire top apart and was going to take the whole disk drive off, but decided to pop it loose in front instead so I could just manually eject it. There's a small lever on the bottom of the drive in the front that you can slide to the right and it lowers the laser assembly and allows the tray to open up too. The tray seems to be in good shape, as do the gears controlling everything too. Just to check it, I opened up the front where the drive band was and it seems to be in good shape too. It's still round and I don't see any bulges that make it look egg-shaped like you'd see on the Xbox drives. Maybe the tray just became misaligned since everything seems to be okay now, so let me just retest it. Alright, I'm just going to test and see if this is able to eject. Alright, look at that. So, all right, let's see if it will eject when this is installed. So I popped out the top piece. I just wanted to see if the magnet was too strong to keep it from ejecting. And it's not. Alright, I just reinstalled the top. I just wanted to see if maybe the magnet was just getting too strong, but let's try it out. Oh, there we go. So, seems like it's working alright. Alright, so I was just doing some final testing on this one, and unfortunately, the controller doesn't work. So I popped the top on this one again and ripped out the front control port to see what we're working with. They are definitely dirty, so that's something to look into. But the main issue looks like the top clips that hold the controller plugs in place. These are corroded and look a little bent too. I'm sure these aren't contacting properly with the plugs because it is much harder to push these in place than it really should be. I got the scratch pen out again and cleaned them up as best as I could before using a dental pick to bend the clips into the proper position again. They aren't perfect, but they are looking a lot better. Let's retest it. Alright, got it plugged in, and looking good. Next up is the one with no audio or video signal. I know my cord is good, so it can't be that, but when I cracked this one open, it was very dusty inside. I cleaned it up as best as I could and tested some of the connections to make sure nothing had bad solder joints. Alright, I've looked over the board and I haven't found any major issues with the caps or anything like that. I even tested a few spots. Don't really see anything that's any concern whatsoever. Just doesn't really make sense why it wouldn't be working. I even checked in here to see if there was any potentially loose wire or maybe a pin missing or something, and I didn't see anything. So I'm just gonna clean up a little bit of it and plug it back in, put it back together, and then try the reset method on the screen with the controller, see if that fixes it. Well, as expected, it is turned on. I did try to reset it and no signal. That one goes to the scrap pile for now, but I'm going to push through and hopefully get done with the rest of these PS2 Fat consoles. I have several that don't read discs, and this is the first of them. Surprisingly, I think the reason why this one isn't working is because the laser is so dirty. I gave it a quick clean just to see if that would fix the problem. Alright, let's test this one out. I have no hope of this working, but we're going to try it anyway. And that would be a no. It just spins and spins, so I'm guessing this one's going to need a little extra love to work again. I was going to plan on buying some replacement laser eyes, but did some research first to find out what's the best way to fix these. Sadly, I found you need an oscilloscope to do the new laser installation properly. That I do not have, so this may be another one for the death pile, at least for now. I did the same cleaning process inside this one and did a quick retest too. Hey, look at that. Just needed some cleaning. On to another one with similar issues. Guess what? It's dirty. This is beginning to be a theme with these units. I blew this one off outside really quick since it was just so bad. Then went back and did a deeper cleaning after all of the big particles were gone. Alright, it's better than it was, and I just realized that this isn't the piece that's broken. It's actually the sides of these that snapped off. So I might need to swap out this disc tray with that other one that is having the other AV issues. I robbed the disc tray from the other unit, but quickly found out that may have not been a good idea. Alright, so apparently this disc tray is slightly different because this happens. It's driving me nuts. And then it sucks back in. Alright, never mind, these are a little bit different. This is the one that I was using. Notice this part. And this is the one that was in here. Notice that part. So obviously this is the only one that can be used. It worked well after the original was used, and I ended up super gluing the front back on so it would stay in place. With this last PS2 done, I had a sigh of relief because now I can actually work on the things that I wanted to be working on instead of the ones that I had to. That would be the leftover stack of Xbox units that haven't been fixed yet from earlier in the year. But before I get into those, a friend of mine brought me this extra special unit. Alright, the reason why this one is special is it is modded. It's got a 2 terabyte hard drive in it, and it's 100% modded. It has a whole bunch of games loaded on here, but it just won't turn on. So my friend cannot get this to work. This is the second unit that he's gone through, and gave it to me to see if I could fix it. So let's see what's wrong with it. Well, besides it being dusty, it seems okay, but I think I might have found the problem. It was dusty just like all the others, so I took care of that quickly before taking out the motherboard to replace the caps. According to him, this unit was working one day and then just wouldn't turn on at all for the next play session. I figured this could have been due to a failure on the power board, but I guess the mainboard caps can cause similar issues, which makes a lot of sense. But all 5 of these got swapped out and the board was looking much better now. Let's get it reassembled and I can show you all the soft mods then too. And look at that, starts right up. I'm assuming the blinking lights is normal because it is running perfectly fine. And yeah, it's got quite a few games on this console. And here's all the emulators, so decent amount. And before checking back on that, I'd like to send a big thank you to PCBWay for sponsoring today's video. PCBWay.com is a printed circuit board manufacturer that provides a wide variety of options for prototyping and assembly. Opening this month is PCBWay's 7th Project Design Contest. You can submit your own electronic, mechanical, or STM32 projects now through the middle of January. The full project timeline, rules, as well as the prizes are shown on the main design contest page. As always, I'll leave a link in the description for anyone to check it out, and be sure to check out PCBWay.com for your own project's needs as well. Now back to the fixes. This was a Phillips drive that I would replace the caps on, but forgot to double check and adjust the pot settings for the laser. So I fiddled with this one and another one for a while after testing them several times, and I just couldn't get them working. And since I had picked up some new lasers for these, I figured I should test those out next. Maybe that would get them working. Taking off the parts you need from the old laser and adding them to the new one is pretty easy. You just need to make sure you transfer everything over. And after it's complete, remove the anti-static protection solder from the 2 points on these as well. The reinstall into the housing isn't too bad either. It's pretty plug and play and goes together without much hassle. I felt pretty good about these and went to test them out. Alright, new laser and still nothing. Alright, I've adjusted this potentiometer multiple times and still nothing. This has gotten adjusted down to as little as 300 or 350 and all the way up to about 1600 and still nothing with the new laser. So there must be something else, or maybe the laser is bad, I'm not sure, but yeah, I don't think these can be fixed. It was fairly disappointing that I couldn't get these working, and honestly I'm pretty stumped as to why they aren't. I've tested and retested these many times and really hit a roadblock with them. Oh well, let me know if you've had a similar issue like this in the past in the comments down below. I'm going to move on and finish up the rest of these old items next, and hopefully I can yield a few good units out of these too. Alright, here's an old one. So this one, I replaced the caps on this one a while ago, and never even put in some of the screws over there, or in the back, because I just was testing it out. But it had a bad disk drive that I had swapped the caps on. It was a Thomson. Well, I just took out the disk drive out of the one that had the flashing red and orange in the front here. And I'm just going to just swap this one into this, and then I have another unit that's ready to go. And as expected, this one is working great. Alright, here's another old one. So this one, it's running Halo, no problem whatsoever. But when you mess around with the AV cable, it will malfunction in the back here. Let's see if I can get it to do it again. There it is. So there's obviously something wrong there, and it will just continue to display, no problem. But I'm going to open this one up and see if there's something else in addition to that was wrong with it. Well, somebody has been trying to claw into this thing, and it was kind of difficult to open this drive when I was loading it up for Halo. So my guess is it probably needs a band inside of this, so that's one thing that needs to get fixed. Now, this motherboard doesn't look too bad. Clock cap is actually in okay shape, but yeah, there's some bad caps, so that'll get replaced. Well, the clock cap was just starting to leak a little bit. There's just a bit of fluid right there. Could have been from when I was squeezing this, but there's a little bit of stuff on the motherboard there. That'll clean right off. I swapped the caps and made a point to clean out the AV port really good as well. I didn't see any issues on the board by the AV connection, so I'm hoping it's just dirty. I also popped in another drive band for this disk drive and tested it out. Alright, this one's running a lot better. Running Halo like it was before. But whenever I mess with the cord here, nothing. So maybe just cleaning it is what fixed it. So this one has the new caps in it. It's got a new drive band here, so I just got to clean it. then it's good to go. I haven't had much luck with these, but let's dig into it anyway. I'm going to be changing out the caps on this drive board, but knowing that these boards are very fragile, I'm going to take as much time as required to get these done. The last time these boards shed traces like crazy, so hopefully that doesn't happen again. I was ultra careful and started by removing much of the solder from the through-hole caps on the back first. This way I can bend the legs a bit to remove them without putting extra stress on the traces. And rather than just twisting and tearing these other surface-mounted caps off the board, I spent a little bit more time on them by adding some flux and heating each pad lightly before moving on to the next one. Eventually I got them all off the board without many mishaps, unlike before. Still, I have a few pads that lifted up a little, but not nearly as bad. So time to install the new parts. The kit I picked up from Console 5 was good, but has a few differences from what I pulled off the board. For instance, a few of these caps are through-hole versions now instead of the surface-mounted, which I'm certainly not complaining about, but I did need to desolder a few more holes on the back for these to work. It's weird that Samsung gave the option to use both surface and through-hole parts, and then just used a mix of them on the board too. But once everything was installed, I did a little light cleaning and put everything back together for testing. Alright, here we go. Here is the Samsung with the replaced drive caps, and it's working! After all the extra time I spent on this one, it's nice to know that it actually does work. Unlike those Philips drives. Okay, I've gotten through all of my old XMAX units. These are the only two that I have left, and both of these have some soft modding issues. They were previously modded, but unfortunately there's some random problems, and as I looked them up, it's really stuff where you have to reflash the hard drive or re-download items or put them back together how they previously were. It's just a difficult process that I'm not as aware of at this point, so I'm gonna throw these back on my shelf and work on them a different day. But yeah, everything else, that big pile of everything is gone. That's all done. The only ones that I have left now are ones that had disk drive issues, and I have quite a few of those. I believe I have 7 or 8, but I'm gonna have to figure out what I can do with those. And these will end up just staying on the shelf. All right, and I'm moving on to these consoles. So I bought these last month. I haven't even opened them up yet. And from what I can see, these are quite dirty. At least these first couple are. So let me get them tested and find out what's wrong with them. Well, here's the first one. And it's a Error 12. So I'll need to look that up. I believe it has something to do with the DVD drive though. So we'll get into it. Well, here's another weird one. So this one turns on, no problem. Has no video or audio output, but when you take away the AV cable, it does register that it is removed. So that's that. When you hit the eject button, it spools up, but it doesn't even try to eject the disc. Like, not at all. So this one might be a really interesting one to break into. Alright, this one was super easy. Just needed a new band, and now it can pop in and out, no problem. And as you can see, the old one was pretty egg-shaped, so easy fix. Bizarre, I just got another error 12. That's so strange. Alright, so I have two easy ones that have disc tray issues. This one also has a damaged top right here, so I can probably just swap out this top with one of the other ones that I have upstairs on my table there. But both of these are very, very dirty, so I'll have a lot of cleaning ahead of me after I get these unstuck, and hopefully, both of the drives work too, but we'll see. First up is the one with the broken top. The clock cap was bad, so I yanked that out, and I changed out the band and the disk drive too. This one was working when I tested it the first time, but I tested it again off camera and found no other issues. Slapped on another top from one that had disk drive issues, and moved on to the other sticky drive. I think this was one of the dirtiest ones I've ever found yet. Very dirty. So much dust. I blew it out and that made it way better, but of course the main board caps are bad too. I got those swapped since they were just starting to show signs of failure. The inside of this drive was just as bad as the inside of the console too. It got cleaned and I had another band installed and it was ready to go right into testing. Alright, this one's got the new caps and really cleaned out disk drive because it was very, very dirty. Blew out all the other dust that was in here because it was very dirty as well, but it's running, which is really good. And I think this one's all good to go. Unlike the last one, this one was probably the cleanest one I've ever found yet. Okay, just cracked this one open and wow. This is the cleanest unit I have ever seen. There's not a speck of dust in this anywhere. It looks completely brand new. The cap is right here, looks great too, but that might explain why it's not turning on, because all of these went bad. But still, I cannot believe, even look at the power supply. There's just barely any dust on it whatsoever. It's in pristine condition. It's amazing, but I'm gonna pop this out, get these swapped out, and hopefully that'll fix this one. These got some brand new beautiful caps and went into testing just like the others. All right, new capacitors, this one's working great. The disk drive does stick a little bit, but it is working, so I'll swap the band on that and that'll get it fixed. This one was quickly identified as trace rot since the front buttons weren't working so well. I found this little void on the front edge of the board and patched it with some magnet wire held down with some Kapton on tape. All right, the trace repair is good. It is on and the buttons work. But whenever you close the disk tray and put a disk into it, it just sits there and it just does this. It doesn't really track, it doesn't sound like it's spinning much, so I'm gonna have to open up the disk drive and find out what's happening with that. But what's weird is it doesn't actually put a error screen up here at all. It just doesn't do anything. So that's a strange problem. I've never seen that before. I quickly cleaned the insides to see if that would fix the issue. Alright, so I cleaned the laser eye on this and still nothing. No error message, nothing like that. So I'm wondering if this needs some new capacitors or something like that, because there's really no explanation for why that wouldn't be working, except for the laser, of course. But I'm gonna have to put this one on the back burner because I don't have any more kits for this specific version, for the B version of the Samsung drive. I only have the F version caps available, so this one unfortunately gets put back on the shelf for a little bit. This seems like a classic case of bad caps or a very dirty disk drive, or maybe both. It was both. Alright, let's see if this one happens to read it faster now that I swapped in the circuit board with the new caps on it. Before, it just sat on this screen for a long time after it went to the Xbox logo and then just went right to the main menu of Halo. Okay, this is looking positive because it did not even show this menu before. It went straight to the other one. Let's see. Okay. Let's see if it can load. Oh, wow. Like instantaneously. Holy crap. Let me try something else. Ah, there it is. That's what it popped up with the last time. So maybe there's something with the laser. We'll see. But it did load that other one really fast, so maybe I just adjust that potentiometer just slightly and then it will work perfect. We'll see. Alright, the drive's potentiometer was at about 1450. I adjusted it down to about 1130, 1140, something like that. So it is running. So I'm going to hit the same level and see if it fails out again. And there we go. And it loads. So that's about the loading time that it normally has if it's loading from a cold boot. So I think that's pretty good. I'll do a little bit more testing just to make sure that this is still running pretty consistently, but if it is, I'm going to consider this one fixed. Alright, just doing some more testing and got the dirty disk error. So this laser is probably on its way out, so put this one off to the side and hopefully I can get something else working. Well, this one's got a Thompson drive and it won't open, so that'll be kind of interesting to open up. But this one also very clean inside. And clock cap doesn't look terrible, but we'll rip that out eventually. Onto the disk drive though. Hey, another free disk. Nice. This disk drive is very clean and it's moving pretty smoothly, so I don't really understand why it wouldn't open up completely, but I'm gonna pop it back in the unit and see if it can open up again. We'll find out. Alright, I totally forgot that this one does not display anything to the TV, but even with that being said, when you try to do this, it'll activate the laser, spin the spindle in the middle, but not activate anything there. That's a really weird problem. Alright, I manually ejected the tray, and it is not even moving at all. You can hit the button. Oh, there it went. Oh. Okay, so the motor works. It just won't eject it for some reason. So let me go through my process of eliminations. First is swapping out the drive band. That still looks surprisingly good. Alright, new belt. Let's see. Nope. Alright, new cord. Let's see if it'll open. Nope. Alright, different Xbox. Oh ho ho ho! Look at that. So it must be something with the motherboard. That's interesting. Works completely fine. And loaded up really fast. So this drive is good, and there's nothing wrong with it. So there must be a whole bunch of other issues with that other motherboard. So we'll have to dig into that and see. I did some research about this specific issue because it was just so weird. I guess this is a somewhat common problem that you can fix on only the earliest Xbox models. It's called Coma console. You can look it up, but I'll put a link to the old article I found in the description too. Basically, you need to jumper a wire on the bottom of the motherboard so it forces it to use a different sector of the BIOS chip. There are 4 sectors, and if multiple sectors are corrupted, you will potentially need to do multiple patches to fix the problem. In my case, I made a patch with some magnet wire and soldered it into the first point and tested it out. Alright, I just threw any disk drive in here just as a placeholder, just so that it recognizes it, and here we go. Let's test it. Yeah, it looks like it's doing the same thing. No signal, but it's starting on. So maybe I gotta cross over the other wire. I moved the patch to the next point and tested it again. Alright, I moved the jumper wire, so let's try it again. Oh, look at this. Amazing, it's working. Even though I don't have a working disk drive for it anymore, I'm still happy I was able to get it fixed. Proof of concept. Funny enough, when looking at the save files, it looks like the problem happened fairly early in this Xbox's life. So that might explain why the inside was so clean too. But I went back in and added some Kapton tape for extra protection on the patch and reassembled everything. Moving on to the next box. Well, we've never seen this before. I feel like this is the new original Xbox specs now. The disk drive sticks, and it doesn't read discs. It's just all too common. But it got cleaned and I replaced the band only for it to not work again. Big shock. I'll need to get more cap kits for these. The first Error 12 Xbox. I swapped out the board on this drive to see if that would cause the error to go away, and it did. Unfortunately, it still doesn't work, but at least I know for sure that it is the drive board that's causing the error message. Well, it looks like the unit turned on by just swapping out that board, so the board must have been the main problem. So I don't know if this is actually going to work because this board had some other issues before, even though I replaced the capacitors on it, but at least the unit turns on and it works, so that's good. Yep, as expected, didn't work. Alright, I've looked through this board and I've looked at all of these resistor packs up on the top here, and all of them test good. I was just curious if maybe that was something, because I know the Samsung drives have these same sort of resistor packs and those can go bad. I just wanted to see if these potentially would be bad. That would cause it to error out with the Xbox, but they all tested good, so maybe it could be the capacitors. I'm not sure. These are looking like they're still fine, but that doesn't really mean anything. So unfortunately, this one gets put onto the pile of unknowns again. And this is the other Error 12 unit. Well, this one has another Samsung drive, and this is super dirty inside. So I'm gonna go blow this one out and swap in a new disk drive, or a new old disk drive, and see if it starts up. All right, I swapped in the same exact Philips drive as before, and it's working. So that means that these cables and the power cord is totally fine, no issues whatsoever. It's definitely an issue with the drive. I know that one was a Samsung. I got this one all blown out, and the AV is actually working a lot better too. Maybe it was just because it was so dirty. I don't know. I'm gonna go take a look at the Samsung drive and see if maybe I could fix that. Alright, this one is really dirty as expected because the inside of the console was super dirty, but that is probably not what's causing the issue. The problem is probably coming from the board down here, but I'll take a look at it and see what I see. I tested multiple points and it seems like the resistor packs are giving off all different readings. So my guess is that these are the main culprit for the error 12 message. Unfortunately, without a hot air station, I don't even want to attempt to fix this because of how poorly the cap changes went the first time. So this goes into the fix later pile. I really need to buy a hot air station one of these days. The last Xbox unit, and it works, but has some little parts rumbling inside of it that I have to get out. It's so annoying. Besides, I want to check the clock cap anyway. Alright, this unit is actually relatively clean, save for the yellowing effect on all the parts because it was probably from a smoker's house. Like, there's not a lot of dust or anything like that, and the clock cap actually looks good. So I'm gonna go shake this thing out to see if I can get rid of the little pieces that you can hear in the bottom. And there's the little pieces that were stuck in here. Glad these are gone, because that's really annoying. So to wrap up the Xbox units, I still have 10 that need working disk drives and a few more with odd issues that I can't identify or fix at this time. I'll need to pick up a few more cap kits for the drives to make sure I've tried everything, but I may need to look into alternative options to get enough drives working for all of them. But before that happens, I'm going to need some more controllers too. I ran out this month and haven't even cleaned 6 of the units that were already fixed because I don't have controllers to make bundles with. I'll need to pick up some more broken controllers for next month and see how many I can get done. But on to another familiar problem. I recently got this NES from a friend of mine, and it is very loose, and when you turn it on, it displays the little lines on the screen here, and even when you go into the next menu, it'll show it's all kind of jumbled and everything. So based on one of my previous videos, which I'll show right here, this is probably an issue with the 72 pin. You just got to open it up, give it a good cleaning, see if there's a pin that's maybe loose or something like that, and then this should get all fixed. Basically needs a good cleaning and a check of the 72 pin connector. This unit is a little dusty and I don't see any blatant problems with this connector, but I'm still going to do a quick cleaning on it and bend the pins back upwards. It contacts the cartridge better and typically is much more consistent reading games then too. The scratch pin and the tweezers work really well for this. Alright, I got Mario in there and it totally fixed it. And I got this done just in time, so I can show you a new package that came in. Hey, just got my next XYAB order in. So, got a whole bunch more of these hookups for the original Xbox because I blew through all of them with my previous bundles. All of these. So, I got a whole bunch more of these. I got some new power packs for PS1 Slims. I got a couple of those from a garage sale. Shout out to Hayden if you happen to be watching this video. Thanks for the deals. And I'm going to see if those are working. He said that they weren't working, but we'll find out with these. Then I picked up a spare GameCube controller cable that I might need to do some surgery on. We'll see. I have an idea that I'll probably show you next month with one of the controllers that I got. Got a couple more capacitor sets for GameCubes, just in case I happen to run into these in the future. Got a component cable for an original Xbox. Got some more Wii sensor bars, and that's it. And if you've had a keen eye, you've already seen me using these. I bought a pair of needle probes for my new multimeter, and I love these. They are so sharp and can fit into tight places so much better than the other ones that came with the new meter. And they weren't that expensive either. Oh, hold on. I just heard a knock on the door. I also just got both of these packages in, which I'll open up in just a second. These came fast. Anyway, so, bought another Game Gear. This one is in decent shape cosmetically, but it doesn't have any battery corrosion, which is fabulous. I may end up just using this shell, but I have a couple blue shells that I've been wanting to use, and the boards in those, or I'm sorry, the screens in those were bad, so Unfortunately, there's not much I can do without just completely swapping it out for another Benven or a McWill or something like that, another IPS screen replacement. So I wanted to get another one of those. And then I ran out of Xbox controllers and ran across this deal. I'm only going to net one black controller to use as a bundle if I can get this one fixed, but it looked like a lot of these just had drift issues. So hopefully these aren't too difficult to fix or too many issues with them, but we'll find out. And I jumped right into fixing these quick. All right, I just tested all of these, and yeah, there's actually some good ones. So this one's good. It just feels really gross on the sticks, and maybe that's why they put drift on it, but I'm gonna have to crack this one open anyway in order to clean it. This one is totally fine, but it has a broken shell. And it had a bad quick disconnect, so I'm going to end up having to swap that. These two here are completely fine, and they had bad quick disconnects, so maybe that was causing some of the issues? I don't know, but they're just very dirty, as you can see here. Like, there's just a lot of gunk on them, but I'll clean those up. And got the new ends swapped on, so that's that. And then really there's only two of them that have some kind of major issue to work through. Well, major issue. This one has a little bit of stick drift, but needs some cleaning. This one has a bad thumbstick here, but it does have a bad cord. So I'm gonna end up having to swap this one out. But really weird is it has like no D-pad. So I'm guessing it was because it was opened up previously here, and it has a nice big melted section there that I didn't even notice about. But anyway, we'll take a look at these and get these straight away. But those just needed cleaning and new quick disconnects. I don't know if I can even count that. Since I've already shown many of these fixes before, I'll whip through these to finish up the month. This one just needed some deep cleaning and it was all good. Sticks seemed fine, it just had some debris inside, which may have been causing the drift originally. Thankfully, I have a replacement shell I kept from earlier in the year for this one. But while I have it open, I remembered that I wanted to see if those power pad thumbsticks would work on a Duke since they looked very similar. I took it apart, but sadly they are totally different. It's really too bad, but this one is all good after popping on a new rear shell. This blue one also just needed some deep cleaning too. Very dirty inside, and I took apart the top of the stick and cleaned the inside of the potentiometer. It had a lot of buildup of something in it, so this was needed, but once I put it back together, it was working like a charm. This one had some obvious issues that turned out to be a very easy fix too. Whoever took this apart the first time never put back the D-pad's button membrane, so that was an easy fix. I soldered in the new cord and trimmed down the melted spot on the rear of the housing, so it wasn't as sharp and it had no edges. It made it feel a lot better, but I'll just make sure to show photos of it when I sell this one. Alright, I just tested all these and they are all good. But it's funny, I found another green controller in another bin, and this one isn't working so well. But let me see if I can... Oh, there it is. See? It's an issue with the cord. Just gotta bend it enough and then it messes it up, so I'll replace this one next month. On to some sales. Somehow I missed filming this one, or maybe I deleted the clip, but this Indigo GameCube with the new drive caps sold for about 75 bucks at the beginning of the month. Alright, just sold another Xbox unit. This one sold for about 140 bucks because it had all of the main drive caps replaced and the motherboard caps replaced, as well as the clock cap being removed, and brand new set of cords and a new cord on the controller too. So, excellent, another one gone. Alright, just sold this other GameCube bundle for about 100 bucks. This one had the replaced capacitors on the optical drive, and I just cleaned it up. Came with a third-party controller and the original cables, so hopefully the new owner, oh, and a memory card. Hopefully the new owner will enjoy it. Hey, just sold another Xbox. This one sold for about 120 bucks. Full kit, has everything with it, but the only thing I did to it was replace the band in the disk drive, which is nice that another one sold though, because I have been kind of short on space in order to put these up onto the shelves, so it's nice some of these are going away now. Alright, just sold another Xbox unit for about 135 bucks. This one is super clean. Comes with a really clean controller with a new replaced cable and the two cords for the hookups. Excellent, another one gone. Hey, just sold this controller for about 24 bucks. Has swapped out thumbsticks and a replaced battery housing. Hey, just sold this PlayStation unit for about 70 bucks. It has a lot of deep scratches and cuts and things on the top that you can see here, so I didn't want to bundle it up with anything because of that, but I cleaned it up, got a lot of the dirt out of this and everything, and it's as best as it's going to be at this point, but happy it's another one gone. Alright, just sold another Xbox unit for about 120 bucks. Came with the brand new cords and a S controller. This one had the clock cap removed and the pulley band swapped out as well, so another one gone. Alright, just sold another Xbox bundle. This one sold for about 125 bucks. Comes with brand new cords, controller. This one had its clock cap removed and had a trace repair in the front there too, so happy this one's gone. Alright, just got another sale. Sold this little handheld for about 25 bucks. Nice. Alright, just sold this PlayStation 2 bundle for about 110 bucks. This is the last item sold for the month. I got a lot of items cleared out this month and don't have much of my original stuff left, honestly. Unless something crazy happens, I think I'm going to be hitting that 10K goal before the end of the year. I'll keep you posted next month, but thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe for more, and I'll see you next episode.